In a world dominated by sports podcasts, three friends team up to bring you another one. Driven by the incessant need to argue with one another, the Context Matters podcast will toe the line between what they believe and what they believe will piss off their friend. Listen and enjoy as the group chat you never wanted to read becomes the podcast you hardly want to listen to. The bits are long, the rage bait is real, and the context matters.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us on episode 11, which is coincidentally exactly what you should read the show on a scale of 1 to 10. It's Saturday. Thank you. I was just gonna do it myself because that was a terrible joke and I know it, but I was still gonna say it. It's Saturday, March 14th. I'm Bill. With me as always are David and J-Mo. How are we doing, boys?
Well, to be honest, I'm feeling a little less ballsy than I usually am, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a deep cut. Those who know. Yeah, that's we'll snip it into your week. You never will.
Sounds rough. Well, I'm doing pretty good. I got a new laptop for everybody. Probably complaining about my mic last episode. I'm hoping I figured it out and still trying to work out the little kinks with this system.
There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was awful.
I know. Yeah,
listen
You
back.
sounded as bad as you sounded like Bill.
Like me. Yeah. I don't know. I tried to listen to the end of the master debater segment last week because we actually got pretty heated. It was pretty fun, but I couldn't even understand what you were saying on me. Listen. Anyway, on today's slate, we're going to be talking about all the wild happenings from the first few days of free agency. And we'll be talking hot topics from items around the NFL. Round 4 of master debate. See if yours truly might be able to go 3-0. Getting into conspiracies with David's Cooky Corner, and then we end the show with a little segment called Anything Else, where we touch on, you guessed it, anything else. But first, a word from our presenting sponsor, Hyatt Trucks.
Are you tired of dealing with unreliable waste removal services, or worse, the weekly dump trip? Say hello to Hyatt Trucks Waste Removal, Southern New Hampshire's top choice for dependable disposal. Based in Milford, New Hampshire, they serve Hillsborough County and beyond, including Milford, Nashua, Bedford, Manchester, and Peterborough. They're a family-owned business with over 60 five-star Google reviews, are fully insured, and ready to handle any waste removal needs. They offer flexible roll-off dumpsters, and as of this recording, are now offering 2- and 4-yard dumpsters to be picked up weekly, bi-weekly, and monthly. They offer comprehensive junk removal services, hauling away furniture, appliances, yard waste, and more. But let's talk about what can really make a difference in your week. Hyatt offers weekly curbside trash pickup to Milford, New Boston, Bedford, Jaffrey, Peterborough, New Ipswich, and surrounding towns beginning at just $40 a month. With provided barrels, options for recycling, and reliable pickups on time, every time. Ready to join the Hyatt Trucks family? Head to HIOTT-TRUX.com and sign up using code CONTEXT to let them know we sent you. Hyatt Trucks. You chuck it, we truck it. Making waste removal simple and stress-free.
Thank you for that, J-Mo. And thanks to TJ and the Hyatt Trucks team, again, for being our presenting sponsor. Now let's get into free agency. I want to start with the Max Crosby insanity. I don't know the last time we've seen something that interesting or that intriguing out of a free agency / trade scenario. So for those who maybe aren't necessarily following every single tweet by Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport on Twitter like the rest of us, Max Crosby was traded from the Oakland Raiders to the Baltimore Ravens for 2 first-round picks, one this year, one next year, and I believe like a 3rd-round pick too. Is that correct?
I'm not entirely sure.
That sounds right. Yeah,
I think it was a 3rd, some other draft compensation. And Max Crosby, who recently underwent knee surgery, and everything coming out of his camp is that he is progressing just fine with that knee surgery. Granted, of course, his camp's going to say that. But he failed his physical, which is, I guess, to be expected, but it depends. Are they going to treat your physical as if you should be fully healthy, rather than treating your physical as if you just had surgery on a knee a month ago.
Right.
And in interesting fashion, the Ravens chose to completely rewind the deal, and they reneged on that offer. And Max Crosby is an Oakland Raider again, so his tattoo of the Oakland Raiders logo is still valid, as
Yeah.
they get up last week. So just a bizarre circumstance and change of happenings. So what are your guys' thoughts on it?
I think it would look a lot less weird if they didn't immediately sign Trey Hendrickson right after all that. You know what I mean? Like if they decided he wasn't at where they wanted him to be or whatever. I mean, they still had a need there, so I get that they had to go out and sign somebody. But the fact that they signed the second best player on the market for way cheaper, that's what makes the whole thing weird to me. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any investigation or anything that comes out of that. But that's my thoughts on it. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. They supposedly just came out and said they plan to pair Trey Hendricks with Max Crosby, which is, I don't know, maybe just a snake move after the fact where you kind of just cover it up. So
Yeah.
I just had ACL surgery, meniscus surgery last year. Max Crosby just had meniscus surgery, 7 weeks ago. So he was 6 weeks non-weight bearing. I was also 6 weeks non-weight bearing.
Yep.
It's a doozy. So he probably went into that limping, not walking right. And like on paper, he probably tore it last time during the season. So I guess maybe he prehabbed too long, because that's what they also emphasize before like knee surgeries. Like your rehab before is more important than your rehab after, which is, I don't really know. But so they also took MRIs, which had an effect on I think he had bone loss and tissue loss in that knee, so he must have played on it too long that did damage, and the Raiders just the Ravens just weren't comfortable with that as an effect.
Yeah. I will say, like, I don't know. It feels like teams should have been able to figure out by now, like, what a rehab should look like and what stage the player should be in while they're rehabbing and everything that goes with that. So I don't know.
They probably
I
just
don't want
honestly heard the noise about what they gave up and then just looked for an out and got cold feet, because that's the
I
only
think
explanation.
Yeah,
I
that's how it
agree. I
feels.
think that's absolutely what happened. They are in a much better place post Max Crosby rewind trade. They have 2 first-round picks back, and like you said, J-Mo, they have the second best edge rusher that was potentially in the market, as opposed to the best edge rusher that was potentially on the market. So they downgraded slightly at that position, and are absolutely dealing with a great, it's still a great edge rusher.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you
sure
have 2
Jamar
first-round picks back.
Chase is probably still mad about that whole thing. The only thing so when this popped up, what came to my mind immediately, and a lot of other people probably don't remember this, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because it's funny as far as just like weird debacle, crazy things that happened during free agency. Do you guys remember the Elvis Dumervil story?
Can't say I do.
So Elvis Dumervil was a Pro Bowler coming off of a great season for the Broncos. And I remember they wanted to keep him, but he had too much of a salary, was fully guaranteed or was going to be fully guaranteed at the start of free agency. So they renegotiated his salary to keep him because, again, Pro Bowler, great player for the team and all that stuff. And he ended up, his agent failed to fax over, this is like 2012. His agent failed to fax over this signed agreement before the deadline, whatever it was, 4 p.m. or whatever. And Denver ended up having to cut him altogether. And then I think it was the Ravens ended up signing him. But literally, like, they already had it all figured out. They're like, yep, this is going to happen. We're going to restructure your salary and do this to bring you back in. Great player. We love you, blah, blah, blah. And just straight up, the agent messed up and forgot to fax over the paperwork. And he ended up going to a totally new team. Like, that was the only other time I can think of in my life that I remember something this crazy happening during this stage of the NFL season. But little throwback there, just kind of funny. We basically all that to say that this really doesn't happen all that often.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't remember that story at all, but I
Yeah.
absolutely believe you that it happened. Yeah, this Max Crosby, I don't know. It's you're checking the Twitter account that you're seeing it from, seeing if it's actually a real account or if you're getting like bot accounted or fake accounted, spam accounted, because it just
Right.
didn't seem real that this was actually getting rewound, especially like David said, coming off a knee surgery where it's like, what are you actually expecting in that physical? And all the time, you'll see teams still push through with a failed physical or a failed physical designation because they knew about the injury before. You can still
Right.
trade injured players. It's just usually it's a safety precaution.
Yeah.
Just an interesting scenario.
Yeah, and you can always kind of go back to the drawing board and like put in different clauses towards the trade. Like, say it's a 1 and then a conditional 1 if he plays like X amount of snaps. Like, I'm really surprised they didn't do that, which is why I think they just wanted an out in general.
Yep.
Because it's definitely not like a Ravens move. But I mean, just think about this makes me realize because like how did the Cowboys mess up trading away Micah Parsons? Because they're still in the Max Crosby sweepstakes, and they
Yeah.
traded him for 2 ones as well with this similar contract. So, like, are edge rushers like this important to give up everything? Like, I know
Well,
Billy doesn't think so. I don't even know. I don't know if they impact the
Well,
game the way like a quarterback that makes $40 million does, obviously. So
right. I mean,
absolutely not. I think a good disruptive edge rusher can make a meaningful difference in like 3 or 4 snaps a game over their replacement. And that's just me eyeball testing. That's not
yeah.
even like wins against replacement. And obviously there's freak outliers like Myles Garrett. But even Myles Garrett, like over a good starting caliber edge rusher, I don't think it's that crazy because I mean again, look at the I just go back to the team that I know best. So look at the Chargers. Like we had 3 I'm just saying we had 3 edge rushers who
Yeah.
had crazy sack numbers, and one was Odafe Oweh, who was traded away from the Ravens because he was not doing anything and no sacks
Right.
with him halfway through the season. So it's just like I feel like the talent at edge is strong, and I feel like their teams are going to give up sacks. Quarterbacks are going to hold on to the ball too long. Like you're going to get a lot of sacks anyway. There are quick pressure rates, and there are certain edge rushers who can create those at a higher clip, and they're worth more. But you're going to get sacks, and you're going to get pressure out of any edge rusher. Like I don't
Yeah.
think your replacement level. Some of the names we see, I don't think like most of these edge rushers getting these crazy salaries like a Trey Hendrickson or a Jalen Phillips are worth $30 million a year.
Yeah. To answer your original question, which I'm going to cut short of, did the Dallas Cowboys mess up in any facet? Yes. The answer is always yes. We're talking about a team who was a 2024. They traded away a 7th round pick to get they traded away a 4th round pick to get Jonathan Mingo on their team. Like,
I remember
yes,
that. Yeah.
all this team
Bad.
does is mess up in free agency. So,
And
anything
honestly,
revolving around Dallas is
I
just not.
hate they signed George Pickens, or they're going to sign him. They tagged him to
The
sign him long
franchise
term.
tag.
Like, just tag him and trade him. Like, why? Like, you don't need to
Chargers.
pay all these weapons on offense and lose every game scoring 40 points. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean the Chargers. Not the Chargers. The Cowboys and
40
the
flip.
Bengals. Yeah, the Cowboys and the Bengals are notorious for just doing the absolute worst thing you could do. In when it comes to re-signing players, they're just so bad at it. They mess it up every time. Jerry Jones is a moron, so par for the course for them. I'm not surprised at all. But yeah, it would have been cool to see George Pickens go somewhere else. While we're talking about wide receivers, do you guys want to talk about the big one, Alec Pierce?
They're going to say Romeo Dobbs.
Who?
Nobody
we can get
cares
there.
about Romeo Dobbs.
Let's start with the guy who just got the most amount of money in free agency in the history of the NFL, Alec Pierce, the one that Bill was saying, like, I just don't see it. I don't know what you guys are all seeing, and then signs this massive
don't.
contract. So it's not just us that are seeing it. They let Michael Pittman go. Alec Pierce re-signs with the Colts, 4 years, $116 million. and that's going to be Daniel Jones's guy whenever he gets back on the field, I guess. And I mean, the side note to it is that like I had brought up Josh Downs previously, and I think his role is going to get a little bit better, but I think this is just like a all signs point to go for Tyler Warren. I think that if Alec Pierce continues to be that deep threat, I think Warren is just going to launch himself into superstardom.
Yeah, Warren should slide into that Pittman role as far as being like the chain mover and just a quick guy where Pierce is obviously going to stretch the field and all that. I didn't love the move initially until they traded away Pittman because at first you were like, why would they sign a receiver at 30 whatever
Yeah.
mil and then another receiver at 20 something mil? But I also don't like they didn't get nothing for Pittman. They got I think a 6 swap with a 7. So it's like you
Yeah.
just unloaded his contract is what you did, which I mean, I guess makes sense, but at the same time, I don't really
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, that was interesting. We'll see how he pairs with DK.
Yeah, I think Pittman in Pittsburgh would be interesting. I think the Colts massively. I think whoever was going to wind up with Alec Pierce massively overpaid for Alec Pierce. I am so excited for our going into 2027 wide receiver rankings when none of us have him in the top 32 because maybe he'll probably put up a very similar stat line and we'll probably all be like, well, he scored 1,000 yards, so he's somewhere between number 25 and number 32 on our list. But he's nothing all that special. He's a great deep threat.
I think he's going to surprise you, honestly. But I mean, I guess we'll see. If you want, we can go into Romeo Doubs. I thought that was a pretty good signing from the Patriots. Stick with the wide receivers for a little bit. I think that they were looking for a one. And although he couldn't really be that with the Packers, nobody could, right? Christian Watson was always hurt. When he was on the field, he wasn't really the one. Jaden Reed had some games here and there, but nobody on that team could ever seem to be the one, especially since they like to run the ball so much. But I think he could. I think he could be the one for the Patriots. I think that he'll slide into that Stephon Diggs role. He's young. I mean, I think he's like 24, 25, something like that. Yeah. And I think he can slide into that role pretty well. So I thought that was a good signing by them. And like we had talked about previously, I was like, I don't want to see them get a big name kind of guy. And this, honestly, I think that this slots in perfectly to what I was saying before. I think he's going to work hard and he's going to play his role and play it well, but he's not going to demand so many targets that it throws off the flow of the offense. So I like it.
Yeah. And AJ Brown is still projected to be a Patriot by the beginning of next season. Supposedly they're waiting till after June 1st, so it's less of a cap hit for the Eagles. So that's interesting. So, I mean, Romeo Doubs, he signed a 4-year, $70 million deal. That's really team friendly for what you're getting. Gronk gave him number 87. That's also kind of neat.
Yep.
But yeah, he does a lot of things that Stephon Diggs does well, which is like work the middle of the field, intermediate routes. He has big play potential, as in he had a decent amount of touchdowns for the amount of catches he had last year. But yeah, you just can't never stay healthy, which you don't love. And just if he sees the field the whole time, I think he'll fit in well.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm interested on what you just said that he's AJ Brown. Sorry, going back to AJ Brown, is projected to go to the Patriots. Who's projecting that? Like I know there's still rumors. I just don't know who it is.
Giardi, I think, is who said it the other day.
The most recent, another one came out today saying that they're no longer looking to trade AJ Brown. But again, I think we're all in agreement that that's kind of true, but only until that deadline hits where they can accept way less of a loss or a cap
What's crazy about the whole thing is you're AJ Brown, like he doesn't want to be an Eagle. He hates the quarterback. He hates the coach. Like you can easily just publicly say, trade me, I'm not going to play for you guys. And then it forces the Eagles' hand. But instead, it's like nothing. You don't hear nothing out of him. And I don't know. That whole situation's very strange. It's usually like a diva receiver that wants out. Like they want out. And he wants out. So it's like, are they just telling him hey, wait, we're going to do good by you. Just hold on until
and that's
June.
The thing, like what does he want? Like he's got the money and he's on a Super Bowl contending team. I know obviously Bill has his thoughts about the quarterback situation there, but he's on a Super Bowl contending team in a division that they can win. So what does he want? I don't even know if he
came
knows
out last year or the year before. it could have been the Super Bowl run where he said, I like winning games, I like being a contender,
Yeah.
but I'm in the prime of my career and I'm only getting 4 catches for 60 yards every game. Like,
Yeah.
this is my legacy we're talking about. This is more valuable
That's
than
true.
a Super Bowl to him anyways.
Yeah, so okay, put
I
him
don't
with
like
somebody
hearing
that'll throw
that.
him the ball, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a
Um,
typical wide receiver mindset, where it's like all the
Yeah.
top guys are kind of like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. The post June 1st designation, I think like his cap hit to the Eagles gets chopped insanely now. So people are already projecting like they're asking for a first, a third, and a player right now. But post June 1st, they'll only be asking for like a second and a fourth or something like that. So it changes the compensation you need to give back wildly. Um, I think there's going to be a lot more suitors than just the Patriots. I know AJ Brown's camp put out that he is interested in potentially going to 4 teams, which included the Rams, which would just be interesting if you're already worried about target share. You might want to go to a place with Luka Devontae. That's frightening for the league, but also frightening for his mental health if he's struggling with target share already. It also included the Chargers, so I will be actively rooting against the Patriots to get anything because I would love some top end receiver talent.
That's fair.
Speaking with receivers, do we want to talk Mike Evans next, whose hamstring gonna have to survive the electrical substation?
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only out of all this, there's only 2 other wide receivers that I really care about. Rashid Shaheed re-signing with the Seahawks, I think is cool. I don't need to spend a lot of time on it, and then the other one would be Mike Evans. So, I mean, I've had to play against Mike Evans way too many times, and as we've talked about in our rankings, like I love him even though I'm not supposed to as a Saints fan. I think that given an opportunity to stay healthy, he could do a lot for that team. He could do a lot for Brock Purdy. He can do a lot for the young wide receivers on that team. I think Shanahan knows how to get him looks. He does really well on play action, which when you have Christian McCaffrey, like that's easy money. So I think all of it makes sense as long as he can stay healthy. What are the chances he stays healthy? Probably a number less than 0.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting place to go, the 49ers. I would assume he would have went to like a top tier quarterback, especially at that stage in his career where he had so much success with Brady, and then he goes plays with like Brock Purdy, which is, I don't know, kind of crazy. And as for the 49ers, it's kind of crazy also to like hitch your wagon to Mike Evans and Christian McCaffrey being injury free for a year. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Fred
never going to
Warner.
happen.
right. Agreed. Yeah, Fred Warner. Oh my God. Yeah, all they did was keep sacrificing people to keep McCaffrey healthy. So maybe they're just planning on doing the same thing with Evans. Although 3 years, $60 million, that's a lot of money to pay for a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, that's what we talked about on the podcast last week. I would have loved to see the Patriots do that deal. Honestly, instead of the Dobbs deal, you give Mike Evans 3 years, 60, and you get a much higher likelihood of a true number 1 target that can work for Drake May. So I'm interested in them going the Dobbs route, not the Mike Evans route. Maybe they're as confident as David is that AJ Brown's projected.
Who knows
to
it? I think Mike Evans went first, so maybe Mike Evans chose the 49ers over the Patriots, which is entirely possible because Shanahan, that system does produce wide receivers like we've talked about before. Kendrick Bourne went off when everybody else went hurt, and he's a scrub at this point in his career. So Mike Evans should be able to get like guaranteed 1,000 yards if he plays most of the games.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely should, but we'll see what happens with that. I do think it's funny that like with certain you think about certain destinations, and I know in free agency it doesn't always matter, but it does in trades and stuff like that. And given the opportunity, if you ask somebody, hey, would you like to live in California or New England? Like nobody's picking New England. So that's always a funny aspect
It's also
of it too.
San
People
Francisco, so you never know.
Yeah, that's true. People,
Let
well,
poop
they're in
on the
Santa Clara,
sidewalks.
right? Nah, they're in Santa Clara. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
nicer.
Yeah.
But they do,
But it also-
there's always, I was going to say, there's always like Miami too. People love to go to Miami because of the nice weather, but also there's no income tax, which is
Right.
huge when we're talking about
Yes.
millions and millions of dollars, right? So,
Yeah, that's what I was going to hit on. I mean, now the NFL pays based on a game schedule, and you pay your income taxes based on where the game is played. So it's like you ever get completely tax free if you're in Florida, or completely California tax if you're in California. But obviously, you have more home games than you play anywhere else. And yeah, it's So ironically, like you think of the Chargers, where you would think we're in LA, we should get a lot of top free agents. Like it's a great place for a young, rich person to come be. But at the same time, like we've heard all the time about people who have turned down and taxes have been an issue. So I think
Yeah.
it's definitely some nuance there. It'd be
for
interesting
sure.
to see if they could, as a league, come up with a way to like downplay taxes. Like your salary cap is related to the state tax that you live in and
Yeah.
the tax
Or-
likelihood, but that's a
Yeah.
finance question in me. But
Yeah. I was going to say, I wonder if there'd be a way for them to be like, X amount of our salary on across the board is going to be taxed for every, like a certain percentage for every player. And then that's going to be distributed to the 50 states. But then you look at that and you're like, well, hold on. Not every one of the states even has a professional
Yeah, an
football
income
team. So
tax.
how is that fair?
Oh yeah,
So
true.
I don't know. That'd be
Right.
an interesting study for sure.
I was just
the only other
I was
one that I can think of is, so I know Washington has no sales tax, and then so the Seattle,
Texas.
and then the Titans, Texas, and then the Titans. So there are some teams, so that that could be a draw, but I don't
Okay,
know.
Bill, just real quick. I have a name that I was thinking of. I just don't want to lose it in this discussion because to me, I don't love the pickup by the Chiefs, and that is Kenneth Walker. Like, I think he's obviously a great running back, but to add him to the Chiefs right now, I mean, you're going to play him twice a year. So, what do you think, Bill?
yeah, I'm not I don't get particularly too worried about running backs as game changers right now anyway. And that's already a team that has Patrick Mahomes, so I'm a lot more worried about Patrick Mahomes than I feel like I will be worried about Kenneth Walker. I think they actually got a pretty not team friendly, but I don't think they grossly overpaid for him.
No.
So I don't think it's a horrible fit. And it does take some of the pressure off Mahomes coming off the torn ACL. So I don't hate the fit for the Chiefs, but as a Chargers fan, am I all that worried about Kenneth Walker? No, I really think there's one running back in football right now that I terribly think can take over a game, and that's Derrick Henry. Unless it's John
What?
Harbaugh. No,
That's crazy.
so you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not even saying he's the best running back because I don't think he's the best running back, but I think he's the running back who can take over a game. And
No,
I will clarify what I'm saying.
Oh my god.
You didn't watch the
will
49ers
clarify
and
what I'm
Eagles in the
saying.
playoffs, did you?
Dude, not even
They
that. Like
rode
we're talking about
CMC.
between
I-
Jameer Gibbs and Bijan. You don't think either of them
And I
can
would-
take over a game?
No, I don't think so.
You're
I-
on crack.
My point being, there are times in a game where the Ravens have a small lead, maybe against New England when their backup quarterback's in, and all they have to do is hand the ball to Derrick Henry.
And they
And
don't.
like prime Marshawn, I understand.
Yeah.
But like
he's so
prime
good
Marshawn
that they
Lynch,
don't give
the
it to him.
game's
Right.
the game's
in
over.
the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I
well,
wasn't
that
trying to make that
specifically, but
connection. I guess my greater point is like I feel like those are the running backs that I would really worry about being in my division. Other
Yeah.
running backs can be much better weapons on the team and can
Sure.
do a lot more big play potential. Can have a lot more great games. Like again, I will do running back rankings later this summer. Spoiler alert. But and Derrick Henry won't be ranked above the Bijan. It won't be ranked above Jameer Gibbs. He will probably still be top 5 because I have great love for Derrick Henry. They'll be
He's
right
so
up 5.
old. But okay.
I understand. But so to me, Derrick Henry is my Mike Evans, where like
yeah.
I believe
Fair.
he won't do it once he stops
yeah.
doing it. Because I
That's
would have
fair.
told you 3 seasons ago he was too old to keep doing what he's doing.
Right.
But I guess my point being, he would be the running back that would scare me in my division the most. Because when all they need to do is run the ball in the fourth quarter, he gets better as the game goes on, and he can just win a game single-handedly by himself in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's the only running back I really fear in today's NFL, I guess is my point. There are other running backs you have to game plan for that's a defense, like Jameer Gibbs. But he's the one I fear.
So my biggest thing with Ken Walker going to the Chiefs is that the Chiefs do a really good job of like attacking their needs in free agency, especially since getting Mahomes and having Andy Reid and making sure that they're making their team better. The Chiefs were so bad last year with their running game. I mean, obviously Kareem Hunt was their leading rusher at 30 years old or something. Pacheco was right behind him, and Patrick Mahomes had almost the same as Pacheco. So bringing in a guy that can obviously, number one, they have a good offensive line, but he can break tackles like nobody else. We talked about that extensively throughout the postseason. I think he led the league 2 years in a row for forced missed tackle rate. So even if he does get in trouble behind the line of scrimmage, he can make something happen. And then obviously he has the ability to have those long broken plays. So while I'll agree with you that he's not necessarily going to take over a game, he's going to open up the ability for the passing work to take over the game. So I think it's a really good sign from them. I don't see a lot of other running backs I would have liked to see go there. Like, I don't think they're in need of like a big bruiser back or anything like that. So, but I also think if they went out and got somebody like Tyler Algier, who I love, it would have been very underwhelming for a franchise that we expect to put greatness on the field. So I thought it was a match made in heaven. I was happy for him. I think it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good mix. It's a good signing for the Chiefs. I'm just not particularly worried, I guess is more my point.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll check
it
back
definitely
in
tells
halfway
you
through the season.
Yeah, the direction that they're going to start going. They've been trying to do it the past couple of years, kind of like a run first offense. But now that Mahomes is coming back from his injury, I think definitely the pass is going to open up the run in that offense for the next couple of years.
But I will say, I'll be interested to see how healthy he can stay if he's a bell cow. Like, that's not necessarily been his role in his limited time so far. And he's been injured when he's been asked to have a lot of carries other than this postseason run just now. So yeah, I agree. He's a great running back. I'll be interested because who's going to be behind him in Kansas City? Is it still Kareem Hunt? Like, I know it's not Pacheco.
Right.
He's left, but
yeah, they could draft somebody. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They might look to pick somebody up in the draft or somebody late in free agency or whatever, and I guess that'll be that. You have to assume Ken Walker, like, again, he gets hurt so much, but when he was playing with Zach Charbonnet, he was able to stay healthy because he only played 50% of the time. So now the only other person, so assuming everybody leaves or whatever, they drafted Brashard Smith last year or 2 years ago. He's fine, nothing special. And then they got Amari DiMarcado from the Cardinals, who again is he's whatever. So I guess that'll be something. DiMarcado is probably going to be the backup, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted for some depth. Which that certainly isn't scary.
A name that actually scares me thinking about going there to be his number 2 is the one-eyed wonder itself, former Charger Najee Harris. That could be, not to give them ideas, because I don't like he's a Chargers fan, but that could be a good fit if he's recovering.
If he's ever able to play football again,
yeah. If he's got his other eye working, he could be a real problem.
Yeah,
I mean, he was playing after the eye injury, and then he his Achilles. So
that whole thing is weird.
Yes.
Speaking of former Chargers, J.K. Dobbins re-signed with the Broncos. That's kind of a nothing burger, other than the fact that R.J. Harvey must not have shown what they really wanted to see out of as a rookie, because clearly they brought him back. Quite a few nothing burgers, in my opinion, for running backs this year in free agency. We had Chris Rodriguez go to the Jaguars to probably back up Bashal Tutin, which we didn't really talk about that at all, with Travis Etienne leaving to go to the Saints. That just leaves Bashal Tutin open to run that team. So, but again, that's just kind of that's a nothing burger there. Rashad White going to the Commanders feels like a nothing burger. Tyler Algier going to the Cardinals, whatever, nobody cares. I think the next best running back signing, other than the trades with like David Montgomery and all that, would probably be Travis Etienne to the Saints. And for those of you who don't know, the reason why I'm saying that is that he came out in a press conference and he talked about how everybody's he told his coaches to call him Etienne, Travis Etienne, because they couldn't figure out how to say his name, but he said it's actually supposed to be pronounced Etienne or Etienne, like whatever. And I don't like any of that. And now that I'm done with my jokes, I'm not going to say it anymore. He's Travis Etienne. If you didn't want to be called that, you should have said that earlier than 5 years into the league. So sorry, not sorry. You're Travis Etienne for now, forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor did the
Tyrod.
same thing. 10 years
Yep,
into the
yep.
league, he's like, yeah, so my actual name's Tyrod. It's not Tyrod. It's like, no, it's Tyrod, dude.
It's
I
Tyrod.
don't even
Tyrod
care.
now. Yeah. And you can't be the second best running back with the pronunciation of HN in the
Yeah, right.
NFL. So he has to be ETN.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you get now. So same thing for his brother then, right? Because his brother got drafted to the Panthers, Trevor. We have to start calling him HN too. I'm not calling
I
out
guess
3
so.
HNs. No, that's dumb.
Yeah, but I'm happy for you, JMO. We talked about it last week. That was kind of your big splash signing. I'm interested to see if they try and deal Kamara, or who
Yep.
potential suitors for Kamara might be. I think that was a great signing, and you were only off by like $1 million a year on your
Yeah.
contract. I think he signed for an extra year, but you were off by $1 million a
Yep.
year. No, that's great. So you're excited?
Yeah, I think that he can do well. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see that whole dichotomy and how that works out. I love Kamara. Like I said, I have his jersey. I'd hate to see him go. But what I don't want is I don't want the Saints to fumble this in a way where both backs are playing, so we have no running backs. One of those, if you have 2 running backs, you have none. Because, obviously, when we see teams that have the Thunder and Lightning and the Sonic and Knuckles, it typically works out pretty well. But with
Ass and
ETN,
cheeks.
like he can definitely run between the tackles better than Kamara can. But Kamara's bread and butter has always been catching passes, but he's looked a lot worse at that lately, the last couple years. And Travis Etienne can catch the ball. So it's like the one superpower Kamara has, he's gotten worse at, and Etienne can do it. So it's like, I'm not sure how those packages are going to look and how they're going to line up. Neither of them are very good at pass blocking. So it's like, my heart wants him to stay, but if they're going to fumble this and put them together in weird packages and it looks sloppy and neither of them can get going, or they kind of just try the hot hand approach, which almost never works, I'd almost rather see him get rid of Kamara from a team perspective just to have some solidity to what's going on. But I don't know.
Okay, so I got a little note here. So looking at the Saints right now, free agency, they got Achan, they got Fant,
Yep.
they got David Edwards, a deal roughly 15 mil per season. They got
Yep.
another offensive lineman. They got a defensive lineman. They got Caden Ellis, which I like
Yeah.
Caden Ellis a lot. They got a punter and a safety, and they were up against it with the cap. So
Yes.
did letting go of those 2 players really free up a lot of space? How are they doing this?
Yeah, Demario Davis and Cam Jordan. So it's the way that they did this, and now would probably be a good time to bring up the 51 rule in the NFL. For those of you who don't know, the NFL has what's called a top 51 rule, where in the offseason, only the top 51 players on the team, the top 51 highest paid players count against the salary cap rather than all 90, because right now they can have 90 players on the team. So only the top 51 count against the cap. And then once the 53-man roster hits, all 53 obviously will be counted against the cap. People on IR, people on practice squad, that'll all count against the cap. But for right now, it's just the top 51 highest paid players that count against the cap. So what the Saints did, and what the Saints do very often, is they restructure these deals. If they do it midseason, they will push, or whatever, they'll push the money down the road. But what they did this time to get under the cap was, along with letting some of those guys walk and letting their contracts be voided, they converted a large chunk of the guaranteed money to a signing bonus. And so what that allows them to do is they get the money right up front, and now their annual salary goes down significantly because of that signing bonus. And so they put up a bunch of money up front, they sign the deal, they're still getting their money, but now their annual salary is a lot less. And it goes into effect with that top 51 rule, where anybody who's around the same amount, between players 48 to 70, it bumps everything down and it allows them to be under that special number. When it comes to make cuts, they're going to be cutting guys that make more money than other teams that are cutting them. But essentially, that's what they were able to do. They converted it by taking guaranteed money, turning it into a signing bonus, and getting under that 51 rule for their salary cap. So that's kind of how they were able to do it. And then to just talk about the players, I think that they did it, while we're talking free agency, I think they did a good job. I love the David Edwards signing, former Bills guard. I think he's going to do a lot for our offensive line. We've talked about how all three of our teams wanted to see better offensive line. I'm sorry, Bill, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah.
No, I'm angry with you.
Come on, you got Cole
But
Strange.
keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry. You got Cole
shut
Strange,
up.
former first-round pick,
Shut
Cole
up.
Strange.
Chattanooga.
As we talked about, Travis Etienne was a good one. I also like Caden Ellis. He, with Demario Davis leaving, we had to get somebody in there. I don't love Caden Ellis, so I don't know if you remember this or not, but the Saints actually drafted Caden Ellis back in 2019. He was a 7th-round pick, and then he played a little bit better than that, ended up going to the Falcons a couple years ago, and then we just got him back. So he's familiar-ish with at least the facility and everything. I think the schemes have changed a little bit, but, it's something. I'm happy with that. Noah Fant is kind of whatever to me. We didn't pay a lot for him, so I'm not too mad about it. He's a very good run blocker, so I'll take that. And then one of the underrated things that Bill was talking about for his team, but my team actually did it, and I was pretty happy about it. They signed a punter, and that punter is Ryan Wright, which I don't know anything about Ryan Wright. I usually know a lot about plenty of players. It's just not somebody that I'm familiar with as far as a punter goes. I do know, like Bill said, most people know their own punter. Our punter, Kai Kroger, horrible at his job. He averaged like 37 net yards a punt all season. And we haven't had a good punter since Thomas Morstead. And he was great. And it's kind of underrated to have a really good punter, to just know that side of things is like set up when you do have to punt. And not only can he boom it, but he can also pin them when he needs to pin them. So I'm hoping that this guy, Ryan Wright, works out, because watching the punting last year was abysmal, and we did it a lot. So sorry about that super long monologue on the Saints. I'll kick it over to you guys and shut my mouth for a little bit.
I was going to say field position is extremely important, and that's half of what can win games in football. And it's kind of one of those things that isn't sexy, so not a lot of people don't necessarily see it. It's not the best in yards. It's not the big breakout run plays, but a lot of times those punts inside the 10 and like just pinning a punt or a booming punt from 1 year stuck inside your own 10, those can be difference makers in games. One thing I will say is, we were talking running backs, and you mentioned a bunch of running backs and said a bunch of great names, and then we set you up for your big monologue with Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
And then David decided to change the subject. The Chargers signed a running back too. I might reach out to you and be like, is this guy any good? But it's a pretty frequent thing in our group chat, is me reaching out to JMO asking who the heck somebody is and are they good. Unfortunately, I did not get great news about Cole Strange when I reached out with that question. Keaton Mitchell. So I was semi-excited once I saw the highlight tapes and saw that he has like 7 of the fastest 10 plays in the NFL over the last 3 years. Obviously, that hasn't amounted to being much of a household name, so I'm not excited for him to be a great running back, but he could be a great Sonic to the knuckles that is Omarion Hampton. So you were talking about it earlier, the boom and the fastback. Like, I'm excited for Keaton Mitchell. So that's my shorter monologue on the Chargers situation. Other than that, I've been completely underwhelmed. I am angry that you got David Edwards. There's no great guards left on the market. And we still need 2, because we've signed a couple guards. I don't think any of them are starting level guards. So, but I just wanted to hit back on Keaton Mitchell, since I feel like we jumped under him, and that's something I don't want to do as a Chargers fan.
Yeah, that's fair. The big thing with Keaton Mitchell is that he tore his ACL in 2023, and then after that, he had some really explosive fast plays once he got back on the field. So that's always good to see. When somebody's main calling card is speed and agility and they tear an ACL, you always wonder what they're going to be back like. And he still had some really fun, good plays. So yeah, I think you got a good one there. Definitely a good depth piece, and he can bring some firepower to the offense in the limited role that he's going to have.
I definitely like the Alec Ingold pickup for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fullbacks aren't sexy, but he played for McDaniel last year. He knows the offense. He knows the scheme. He's gonna fit in right well, and he's one of the best fullbacks in the league.
Yep.
Yeah, and I do know the name, and kind of like a punter, you don't often know the name of the fullback on other teams. But the reason I know Alec Ingold's name is because he's a very versatile fullback compared to some others you've seen. Like he's a positive pass catcher. So the Chargers have had a fullback the last few years, Scott Matlock, who's just awful at anything other than just running like a train over somebody who hopefully doesn't move very fast. Which, and I'm not saying like sometimes there's a great use for that, but if they're throwing a pass to Scott Matlock, he is going to make it look like he's on hockey skates out there. So I'm excited to get Alec Ingold, who's not an absolute liability when he's running a route, because he's actually a underrated pass catcher as well, which just allows you to kind of run out with that like two tight ends formation of them, run some of those more surprising play action plays and have a few players leak out that the defense may lose in the coverage, not thinking it's going to be a play action. So I'm excited about him. Same with Charlie Pilar on the same exact nature. But yeah, that's still very underwhelmed so far. So speaking of that, I kind of had the note of I'm underwhelmed by the Chargers so far. Mainly their lack of addressing the internal offensive line, or at least two guard positions sufficiently. David, I also, just living in New England, I'm very in tune with the Patriots fan base. I'm underwhelmed as a Patriots secondary fan for your offseason so far. Obviously, you made the big Dobbs splash that we talked about earlier. But how are you feeling on the state of free agency for the Pads?
I'm definitely surprised that they haven't gotten more middle tier free agents. They have only signed 1, 2, 6 guys, which, I mean, other teams have double that. I think the Chargers even have double that as far as like mid tier guys. I mean, they have made a couple splashes. The Draymond Jones first day was a splash, which is a pretty fair price. He was the best rusher for the Ravens, so hopefully schematically he'll fit and produce better. They got a fullback finally. They put just some guy in at fullback last year, and the McDaniels way, you need like a competent fullback.
I miss Devlin.
Devlin was a weapon. Because I hope this guy could do it. Because with Devlin, like if you're in a, like you said, you could do 2 tight end set, running back, fullback. You could go no huddle, and then you could put. They did with Devlin. They would put him like wide left, and then like the other team has to respect it.
You have
and
to
if they
account
didn't,
for him. Yeah,
he'd run like a 5-yard hook, and it's just like, just taking money from a baby. Taking money, candy from a baby. But the biggest like signing I would say is Elijah Vera Tucker. He was a first round pick. He's super talented. He's always hurt, but they got him for 3 years, 42. So it's like you're not like really overpaying him if he does only start half the time.
And you're taking him away from a divisional appointment. You're taking him away from a divisional opponent.
Well, I mean, the center for the Raiders, I forget his name, but he just got like 3 years, $85 million. So I mean, I know obviously
Tyler
like,
Linderbaum.
Yeah, so it's like comparing apples and bulldozers.
He stayed healthy, and that was also a crazy overpay. And centers usually command a little bit more than guards, so I guess that's what he's now like giving you. Not that I think you think
it's a savvy move.
Overpay, but I think it's an overpay if he gets hurt.
Yeah, well, for sure. But who knows what 21's guaranteed, so who knows what the rest of that 21 looks like as far as the structure, what games played, and all that. But the sneaky one that was also happened yesterday was Kevin Byard. I think he was arguably the best safety in the league last year, and he went on a 1-year deal, $9 million. So, I mean, if he runs that defense, you have a pretty stacked. It was already one of the better ones in the league as far as like the defensive backs go. But if you had Kevin Byard to Christian Gonzalez, Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis, I forget the other guy there.
Well, they lost Jalen Hawkins at safety too, who wasn't very special.
They just
replace him with Byard is solid.
Yeah,
and I think not to be Debbie Downer here, I think they might already be contingency planning for losing Gonzo next year, because I don't know if they're going to open. I don't know if they're going to open the Brinks truck up for Gonzo, knowing they're going to have to pay me the next year. So my level-headed take is I honestly don't see them signing both when Gonzo's already pretty much said that he wants to set a cornerback market next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I
Well,
mean, they're already out
They
on
have money.
because,
We'll see.
yeah, they should have signed him before Trey McDuffie got signed. So it even bumps him up
Yep.
even more to what that contract's going to be. Because McDuffie, I'm going to bring it up right now. So where'd he go? LA. He
Yep.
got this isn't good for the 4-year, $124 million contract. So
Yeah.
that's a big deal. Yeah. So you're going to have to beat
So
that.
you guys are in that
With
positioning.
with $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, I do think this year they are directly looking at paying Drake May and paying Gonzo down the road, which is kind of unfortunate because you have a decent amount of cap space and you're just kind of saving it for future assets when the cap goes up every year. But
Yep.
Robert Kraft already said, I'm spending too much money. I got to wait for my money to return instead of money going out. And it's like, what?
Yeah. I'm sure he's going broke.
I know, right?
And that was
Whatever.
another reason why I honestly thought Mike Evans would make a lot of sense in New England, because like you line him up on a shorter term contracts, pay him decent money, 1 or 2 years, and so not to beat a dead horse, his hamstrings already falling off in San Francisco.
Right.
But it's
Well,
just
also-
it would have been a good fit because of that, I feel like.
Yeah. And talking about the way that things are structured versus just reading the headline with Mike Evans' deal too, it's more structured. It's basically a 1-year deal, truthfully, when you look into it. So same thing could have happened if they were worried about health or anything like that with New England. So
So it's kind of like Diggs. Diggs was in the same boat. It was a 3-year deal, but really you can bail after one, which they ended up doing.
Yeah. I actually want to touch on fullback one more time since we were talking about it so much already. We all know that Kyle Juszczyk is probably one of the best fullbacks in the league still. He's so fun to watch. He's so explosive. But another big name that I kind of got overlooked because I just saw it recently was Patrick Ricard, who was on the Ravens. A huge name. He's been there for a long time. He's played incredibly well. Definitely probably top 3 fullback in the league. And he goes to the Giants, which if you guys want to talk about the Giants for a little bit, I think that they've done a really good job in free agency as well and in the ads that they've made.
Yeah, a lot of people following Harbaugh, so him being one of them, right? So Harbaugh goes from Baltimore to the Giants, and Patrick Ricard following him. I also saw a pretty funny overlay picture of him and Scatteroo, and I don't know, they look like cousins who have 6 brain cells between the two of them. But yeah, I think the Giants are working to try and be contenders, and I think in that division, the best team in that division has a absolute awful relic, and other than that, it's completely up for grabs. I mean, you have JD Daniels, who knows how he's when he comes back. You have Dak Prescott, and that offense is always high flying, but that defense can't do anything, and they lost Micah Parsons like that. That's a division that's up for grabs, so it's great to see them go out and get Harbaugh and then go out and make splashes. On the other end, the other team that's exciting is the Raiders. That scares the crap out of me as a Chargers fan, because that's the only team in our division that wasn't already at least threatening of being a powerhouse, right?
Right.
The Broncos be the 1 seed, and then you have the Chiefs, who still have Patrick Mahomes, who can rise up from the dead like the Undertaker whenever they want. And now we have the Raiders out here making absolute money moves, and retaining Crosby at the end of it. That's the other side of that unwinding trade is the Raiders were trying to get better in this offseason. They have the number 1 overall pick, believing everybody knows they're probably moving Fernando Mendoza, and now they're keeping Max Crosby too. And I don't even think they're all that upset about it. They might still try and chop him, but they still have plenty of room with him.
Yeah.
So not to completely hijack before we went to David about the Giants.
Oh, it's
fine. I think the Giants and the Raiders are the two that are absolutely head and shoulders winning free agency so far.
Yeah, I saw something this week, which was how much does Clint Kubiak hate Geno Smith? Because he gets hired at Seattle, he ships him to the Raiders, and he gets hired to the Raiders, and he ships him back to the Jets. Which is, I can't believe somebody paid for that. But the Raiders, they are crushing it right now. They got Linderbaum, slight overpay, but they're rebuilding that defense in a savvy way, which They got a couple edge guys. They got Nakobe Dean. They got Quay Walker, which are
yeah.
2 studs. And then you
Dogs.
traded for Taron Johnson, which he's a starting cornerback, and they signed
Yep.
Eric Stokes. So they're kind of buttoning up that whole defense.
For sure.
And then the Giants are doing finally smart football moves, because Harbaugh got there. He said, I want guys who love football and cut everybody who hates it. So
Yep.
I think they're just going to be like a great bruising team, and Dart's just got to stay healthy. That's the only knock on them.
For sure, and I hope they do, because it'll be fun to watch that. And there's talks about them looking to get a wide receiver in the draft as well to just make it even more fun. Obviously, they lost Wan'Dale Robinson, who went to the Titans, which whatever. He was a really impressive PPR guy with the amount of balls that he could catch in a year, but I don't think that that's irreplaceable. Like, I don't think it was necessarily his talents that got him there. That's part of it. He's fast and he can make those plays, but I think they just kind of threw him the ball a lot because they didn't have a whole lot else there. So they're going to get Malik Neighbors back. They have Darius Slayton, which I still can't figure out if they like him or not. They keep paying the guy over and over and over, and then they never throw him the ball. But whatever. They got Isaiah Likely, which will be a big weapon. Obviously, we talked about the fullback. We talk about Scatabo coming back, and they are still, I believe that they still have Tyrone Tracy, and I think that they re-signed the other running back that started on the Bills and went, God, why can't I remember his name? Anyway, it'll come to me. So they still have that core running back group. So they're definitely trying to get better, and they're not just resting on their laurels. So good for them, and they're gonna obviously do what they can to try and win the division. Like you said, it's wide open and anything's possible. So a couple injuries might set them back, but a couple injuries might set back the other teams around them. And it'll be fun to kind of see them competitive again, because we haven't seen that for a while.
For sure. Not since Eli Manning, at least. There were a couple fun spurts with Daniel Jones and Saquon, but never for more than a few games.
Yeah.
Only because they were in that division.
Devin Singletary.
Major.
I did it. Devin Singletary. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Congrats.
Boy.
Thank you.
Congrats. Are there any other major signings? I kind of want to talk about the big names that are left, although there aren't that
I'll
many.
do one major signing
before we go into that.
Okay.
So this team was on my loser list, probably, I would say, and that's the Vikings, until they sign Kyler Murray, which to me he's a great quarterback, great talent, and KOC is a great coach. So I think they're going to marry their styles very well. And if he can stay healthy, I think they're going to win the NFC North. That's my hot take as of now.
Okay. Sure. I think both of you need to be drug tested for your takes that you've had on the show today, but that's fine.
I feel fairly confident that they're going to finish 4th in the NFC North. So
I'd pick them 5th if I could, but
that is such a loaded division. That is a wild take, David.
The Packers are on the downfall.
Division.
The Lions are awful, and I mean, the Bears are the Bears. I think the Bears got a lucky.
That's hard to argue with.
It's awful, but the Bears are the Bears.
Kyler Murray
that is 100%
put up
accurate.
great numbers with Cliff Kingsbury. Does anybody know where Cliff Kingsbury is right now? Pretty sure he's on his
college.
Yeah, he could be in college, but yeah. I mean, he carried a god-awful franchise for years, and he's finally on a good team, good system, great weapons. He's never had the weaponry. If they could do it with Kirk Cousins, you're telling me you can't do it with Kyler Murray?
Yes, I'm telling you that personally. But
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you guys are going to be looking up stats real quick, just defending my
Cliff
guy.
Kingsbury ended up going to the Rams, by the way. He's on the Rams.
It's like a assistant. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I think he's basically taken a year, and then he'll be back in the coaching pool next year when we talk about this.
Yeah, and he's a McVay guy. I think that's just kind of like going and recentering yourself. It's like just getting back in the orbit of making sure you know you're doing what's right. I think you absolutely, like, he had some good years. Jeremiah and I had a few arguments about who was a better quarterback a few years back. Murray, Herbert.
I was wrong because I picked Murray, and I was wrong.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. I was
Okay,
just about
hang
to
on.
I feel
Well,
justified in saying I
his
was
last
correct.
healthy
but-
year, 2024, 3,800. Well, I don't know if he missed any games. 3,800 yards passing, roughly 70% completed, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks, 93 rating, and he ran for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
he's perfectly fine. I'm not even saying he's a bad quarterback. I was the one the last few weeks who was trying to get you guys to answer, like, is a team going to treat him as a true, like, starting quarterback? He's a fringe starting quarterback, but they're not going to win a loaded division like the NFC North.
I don't think it's that loaded anymore. Like I said, I don't think the Lions are going to be that good. I think they've peaked. I think the Packers have peaked. And because I don't think Jordan Love is anything, but we're going to touch on divisions in a few podcasts.
I think Jordan Love is better than Kyler Murray, but okay. Well,
I don't
yeah,
think
we'll
so.
touch on divisions. Little tease, next week we will be ranking starting quarterbacks, so that'll be interesting.
But my
We'll go right back into this argument.
big problem with Kyler Murray that drives me nuts with mobile quarterbacks is like you get injured all the time. Like you pull a hamstring and like you're just subbed out of the game. Like you really can't just like stay in the pocket and like just be a quarterback and throw the ball. You have to like Lamar Jackson does it all the time. It drives me nuts. Like you pull a hamstring and you're out like 4 games. Like just be in the pocket. Like Brady played on a torn ACL a whole season and won a Super Bowl. That I don't know. It just drives me crazy. Just change your style of play, and it's going to benefit you in the long run instead of being like Cam Newton. You're out of the league at 32, and nobody wants you. It's just so frustrating to watch these guys.
I think some of them aren't good enough without their legs and their mobility. That's the problem. The backup at full health is better than the rushing quarterback without the legs underneath them. Depending on the rushing quarterback, that's probably.
And
a
I
big
think
part
that's
of it,
that's 100% true with Lamar, right? When you have Tyler Huntley backing him up, it was like literally bargain discount Lamar. So he's just
an MVP.
I mean, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Huntley was a Pro Bowler. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Not that it means anything anymore.
It's just crazy. Just learn how to.
I mean, I agree too. I think Lamar's soft.
Yeah,
I agree too. I think Lamar's soft, but
Kyler
I don't.
Is too, but
also, you said that's
soft
your
doesn't mean
big
bad,
problem,
but
correct. I agree.
Yeah,
that's your big problem with Murray. I don't think you can have a big problem with Kyler Murray because every problem is little with Kyler Murray. Yeah, and touching briefly on Clint Kubiak and who he hates, Geno Smith. Is Geno Smith the best quarterback the Jets have had since Geno Smith?
Honestly, let me think about this for a second.
Dude, they had the Rodgers for 3 snaps, right? 2 snaps? That was probably
in the season. No, there's that in the season.
Touch of lightning.
Yeah,
in the full season.
I think that could be it. That's kind of funny. And then one other thing with the Kubiak connection, there's talks about Derek Carr possibly going to the Raiders to help Fernando Mendoza transition to the NFL for as long as they don't want to play a rookie, which would be interesting. Which again, just as a Saints fan, that just brings me back to like, hopefully we get some draft compensation for that if that happens. But it's kind of like a game of chicken with him, because if the Saints are talking about like they would possibly release him the second that he unretires, because it'll save him a $36 million cap hit for 2026. But obviously if they trade him, that will also save them for the cap hit. But it's kind of dangerous because if they can't find a suitable trader, even for like a 7th round pick, and they don't cut him right away and they get stuck with that, that's going to suck. So we'll see how that develops. But that's about everything I got for free agency.
For sure. So I'll just touch briefly on the best available list that we have remaining. So Juwan Jennings, it'll be interesting to see where he winds up. I'd love to see him on the Chargers. Wyatt Teller, who's a guard. And I'd love to see him on the Chargers. Calais Campbell is an interesting one. He's 40. He's probably going to be there, but he's still such a beast. Joe Bosa, I don't know where he could wind up. They're saying maybe San Fran to go be with Taylor. Although I did see the joke that he wants to make sure wherever he goes it hasn't been labeled a sanctuary city. The Bosa brothers are pretty.
Hey, the 49ers then.
I don't know if that was the joke. Kirk Cousins. That's still an interesting one. I'd love to see him go to New England.
I still think it's the Steelers.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's going to be the
Well,
Raiders.
you don't think they're bringing back Aaron Rodgers?
Nope.
I think it would be correct for Pittsburgh to not bring back Aaron Rodgers and to bring Kirk Cousins. However, I think they're going
Yeah.
I
to
don't
bring
think
back
Kirk
Rodgers.
Cousins should sniff outdoor stadiums 8 games a year. Call me crazy, but
That's true.
at this point in his career, he's like Tua, you know? You just can't play outside, especially when the snow and the wind and freezing elements come.
True.
Never looks good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I still think he'd look better than a certain New England quarterback did in the playoffs. So just a lot of big names: Stephon Diggs, Aaron Rodgers, Deebo Samuel, Kevin Zeitler, another Charger, hopefully. Dallas Goedert, which we brought up a lot last week, as someone you didn't think the Patriots should sign. Yes, Jeremiah.
Dallas Goedert re-signed with the Eagles.
He did? Okay.
I was going to say,
This is
Don't
not
worry
I
about
feel
the
like when
game.
guys
That's all
wait
I
that
know.
long, they're just trying to work out a deal to go back to their old team.
I can see him going back to the Eagles. That makes sense, I think, for him.
Yeah, I
But,
think that's a good call from you. Very good.
my point being, I think it was a good move from everybody. I don't think he's as valuable to any other team as he is to the Eagles, and vice versa. Nobody else really here. Cameron Jordan, Darren Waller, David Njoku could be an interesting one. Kyle Van Noy, but all these are now we're talking about depth pieces. So I'm good to close out free agency.
Yes, sir.
This is both of yours as
Yeah.
well. So let's go into hot
I'm good.
topics. So hot topics. One that I had was the Travis Hunter scenario. So for any of you who might not be watching, Travis Hunter, the top draft pick by the Jaguars last year, who plays corner and wide receiver. This was known about him coming out of college. His wife, then fiance / girlfriend, was some trouble. Let's just say that. I believe he had even admitted that he had caught her cheating multiple times in college. Several
Yep.
teammates, including Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders, had told him that he absolutely needed to get a prenup before they got married. He ignored that advice and did not get one. He has now just caught her cheating again. He has been on Instagram Live crying over the last few days and explaining a scenario, which, like, I feel for the guy. It obviously sucks. He seems like he's a different kind of character. He seems a little, just a little out there. And I don't think anybody in that scenario should probably be out on Instagram Live saying anything, let alone acting out all the dirty laundry. And he has now said that he's going to have to pay her $200K a month forever, as part of their divorce settlement. And they just got married, I think, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So
She
what are
honeymooned
your
him.
thoughts on this? It's wild.
Yeah, it's
in
kinda funny.
terms of Just why are you on Instagram Live? airing
Yeah,
all
that's
this?
obviously not great. Did you guys see? Well, it's kind of like a flip of a coin. Dak Prescott just broke up with his fiance because they were on vacation or whatever before their wedding, which was like, I think, like this week coming up sometime. And they broke up because she wouldn't sign a prenup. So it's like, it's kind of funny,
Yeah.
like this, how that.
I
coin
love that
goes.
for him. I love
Yeah.
that so much. And then obviously everybody's seen the meme now where it's like Dak Prescott was getting too close to a ring, so they had to call it off. But yeah, no, I mean, you got to protect yourself and protect your assets as well. And it's a sticky situation. But yeah, I think Travis Hunter, I mean, man, we have to remember that these guys are just kids, man. He's in his early 20s. Like we all work with guys. We're all friends with guys that are in their early 20s. Men are inherently stupid. And 20-year-olds are inherently stupid. And you mix the two of them together, they're not getting smarter. So,
Yeah.
you know, it sucks to see that. And it's, you know, it's obviously unfortunate. The signs were there and he didn't protect himself and the assets that he created based on what he was able to accomplish with his talents and his abilities. So that sucks, but maybe he'll be a little bit of a learning experience for other younger guys coming up and whatever. But sucks to see, but at the same time, this is football, man. Nobody wants to hear you or see you crying. I know we talk about these guys are all humans too. That's a little too human. I don't want to see it. I don't care. Grow up.
Do that on your own time. But if Shedeur Sanders is your voice of reason, like that's a problem.
Yeah,
be better
man.
for
That's
us.
crazy.
Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders.
Stop saying that.
We
don't
can
care
get
if
into
it's
that
accurate.
discussion. I like Shadur, but that's next week.
Gross.
Yeah, that's for next week. And also another one of your takes and some discussing later on.
Woof.
Yeah, so I agree. I feel bad for Travis Hunter, but it's just, and one interesting thing that I heard once that's a very interesting piece of advice is that everybody has a prenup. Your prenup is just the divorce laws in the state where you live. So like if you don't sign prenup, you automatically have a prenup, which is just like an interesting way to look at it. Like it's
Yeah,
just,
what's New
the
Hampshire's
laws
bill?
are. I don't know.
I know.
That's not my point.
Oh,
My
I
point is
sound like you
that it's-
researched this topic before.
No, not at all.
Actually-
just listening to endless finance content, and obviously, prenups
So,
comes in
You know
finance
who would
content.
probably know this? If you guys look into, like, when you guys got married, whoever did your wedding ceremonies would probably know the answer to that. If you guys could think back to whoever you paid money to marry you guys, they would probably have the answer.
Yeah, we're all married to JMO.
I'm looking at JMO
So-
on my
Technically
computer.
true.
Um,
I don't know the answer. Don't look at me.
yeah,
I could,
so,
but I don't.
no, I just think it's an interesting place to look at it. We're not a finance podcast, so I'd maybe go a little bit deeper into that aspect. But
No, but I do
this
do
comes up all the
weddings, if
time,
anybody's
finance
wondering.
content. Yeah,
Doo-doo.
I don't do that anymore. I got stuck into that. Bill decided that he asked me if I would marry him, and I said no. So he ended up marrying his real wife. But so I ended up, that was the first time that I had married two people, and then immediately after that, with Dave being there, he asked me to marry him, and then it was just this endless cycle for a few years. And I really liked all the marriages that I've done. It's been a lot of fun. I think I've done 6 of them now. And it was all a great time. I love all of you individually and together. And I was really happy to be a part of all these people's special moments. And I don't ever want to do it again. So nobody asked me.
So
But, like,
email the
it's-
context matters podcast at gmail.com with your wedding request.
To
and
request
Joe
JMO.
will be obligated to do it for free. He is no longer charging or will not charge.
No-
But it's just
No
as
longer.
so-
I haven't been I have not made money on a single one of these weddings. Nobody even buys me a drink afterwards. It's
I was
crazy.
gonna say you pay him.
You
No.
got free drinks at my wedding, and we paid for that license because we were the first one.
That's true. That's true. That's $50 right there.
Yeah, that was a hard $50 to come by. But yeah, so he'll be obligated to do it absolutely for free. He will travel anywhere in the world to be your justice of the peace.
Please don't let it be Ohio.
So just email RJ now. So the next hot topic I have, unless you guys have anything else on Travis Hunter, was Bam Adebayo with the absolutely ugliest scoring record, because half the people say that the Wilt Chamberlain record didn't even actually happen. Although a game like this makes me really think that Wilt Chamberlain game had to have happened, especially when it's like 5'8" white guys at every position. But I just think it was so ugly. I don't know if you guys watched a lot of the game or watched a lot of the highlights, but it was just like, I mean, obviously some highlights were highlights. Like he had hit a couple good threes, had a couple like poster dunks. Like I'm not saying he's not a great basketball player, because he is, but it just he's a little ugly and 43 attempted free throws. Like what?
Ugh, that's the problem.
Yeah, so he scored 31 points in the first quarter. So he started hot. It looked great. And then I think at halftime he had like mid 40s. But the fourth quarter is where it got really ugly for they actually tried to get him this title, where like obviously Kobe, it was a spur of the moment. He's just playing basketball, really.
Ballin'.
But they were intentionally like the Heat players were fouling I forget what team it was, the Wizards. They're fouling the Wizards like upon every rebound they would get. So the Wizards would shoot free throws, and then they would just immediately give Bam the ball just so he can like run up the court and like do something crazy. Where it's like they just extended the game just to like feed him points, where it wasn't like a natural game flow. It was just, at one point it was just ugly, just forcing it.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird. I didn't watch the game, but then I did watch the game after I saw what happened because I needed to know. But it was kind of frustrating to see how he got it. But records are meant to be broken, so I don't really have a problem with that side of it. I will say, like, in Kobe's fourth quarter, he had quite a bit of free throws as well. I think Bam only had a couple more free throws in the fourth quarter than Kobe during his, but it was interesting to see, like, when Kobe was doing it, even in the fourth quarter, he was rarely getting double teamed, and Bam was getting like triple teamed. So like at some point, obviously, like when there's three players on him and they're all swatting at the ball, like, yeah, he probably is getting fouled. So he earned a lot of those foul shots. But it did feel so manufactured that it took away some of the fun of it. But I mean, 83 points is crazy. So I think
Yeah, he still
it's fun to
did.
see. And yeah, a lot of people said, like, um, in 30 years from now, nobody's going to remember how many free throws he shot. And I was like, no, I disagree. I think that all the old heads are going to be like, I remember that game. There's an asterisk next to it, but still cool to see that he did it. So good for him. I did see one. I don't know if you guys saw this too, but they were like, can somebody put this in football terms for me? Cause I don't know what, I don't watch basketball. What does this mean? And they were like, imagine David Njoku got a 300-yard game. And I was like, that's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy. So I actually saw a scientific breakdown or quantitative breakdown on it too, where it was like 8.5 standard deviations out of his normal scoring range, which would be like Jalen Hurts throwing for over 900 yards, which is just like that. And that's like a statistical scenario.
Yeah.
That would have absolutely shattered the records for any quarterback throwing.
Yeah, if you mention a bell curve, I'm going to shoot myself in the forehead. So keep it light over there.
I also saw that Lakers fans are pissed because Bam Adebayo died in a worse helicopter crash than Kobe.
I love the meme. Anytime that anything happens in the world, the memes are just spot
Legendary.
on afterwards. It's so good. Like,
can't get away with that.
I would feel
get
really
it.
bad about that if Kobe wasn't also one of those terrible people that
well
bring up all the
that's
time
true.
on this show. So
You talking about 8 or 24? Because those are two different.
No, he's
guys.
talking about 8 Kobe. Yeah,
that's
no,
right.
8 Kobe was not good. 24 Kobe was
legend.
perfect.
He did some things, bought his wife a gigantic ring, changed his number, and then everything was okay with his life.
Hey, at least he's not crying about it on Instagram Live.
Fair enough. Okay, so the last note I have for Hot Topics is the World Baseball Classic. I didn't write that down, so I don't know who wants to talk about this because I sure as hell don't.
It was just a quick little shout out. So if you haven't been paying attention, it's pretty much Paul Skeens and Roman Anthony running the table, which is obviously as a Red Sox fan, you love it because Aaron Judge, the team is loaded, and Roman Anthony is their best hitter.
Yeah. It's been fun to watch. I did like to see, I didn't know that this was a thing because I don't watch baseball and I don't really care. But when Mexico played Brazil, I think they mercy ruled them. So like they didn't even make it through all the innings. They were up 15 or 16 to nothing and they just called the game. And I was like, that's awesome. I love that so much. I want mercy rules to take effect in every sport because I think it's so funny that I know we'll miss out on some of these amazing comebacks that we've seen throughout the years, but just that thought process of like, you've been so bad, we can't watch you play anymore. We're done. It's just so funny to me. It's so embarrassing for the other teams. I'm like, you know what? Bring that mercy rule back to everybody else. I'm fine with that. I thought that was great.
Atlanta would have a Super Bowl.
It's a good point.
Boo.
28-3 halfway through the third quarter. That's not a mercy rule in the NFL. I don't know what would be. So yeah, no, that's interesting. That's pathetic. I'm the exact opposite take on that. Like mercy rules are awful. Get them off me. I was kind of kidding, David. I was just kidding you. I know some people are into the World Baseball Classic.
I was gonna say I think I'm the least baseball guy here, and yet I'm the one who just signed up to be a coach for my kids' t-ball team. So that's fun. I had to take a whole course online about being a baseball coach, and it's the same course that you take as a t-ball coach as you do for high school coach. So that was fun. I had to really, when I had my quiz at the end of it, and it's like, you have a forced run and the third baseman grabs the ball in this scenario. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to actually think about this for a minute. Even though it has nothing to do with T-ball, I still got to pass this course. Fun stuff.
Awesome. Any other hot topics around the world of the NFL or sports world at large? I guess only one topic of these has been NFL related, but anything else before we go on to Match Debater?
I don't think so. I think we're
No, I'm good.
Excellent. So next up, round 4 of Master Debater. 30 minutes before the episode, our weekly judge, this week it was David, will hand out the topic and assign each contestant a side that they then have to debate. Each contestant gets 90 seconds to argue their side, and then it's an open floor until someone gives the judge just the right tug, and he explodes. He showers us with his decision. So, David, I'll do intro. Your choice for Master Debater, and then hand it right off.
okay. So, as we all know, it's getting nice outside finally. So, I've been spending some time outside walking around and just really gearing up for the warm weather. And what comes with warm weather? Cookouts and barbecues and stuff like that. So, I just propose a question to these two guys. What's better? Hot dogs or cheeseburgers, hamburgers, a burger in general? So, here we go. Okay, let's go with, are you both undefeated 2-0 or 1-0?
I'm 1-1. Billy's the only one that's undefeated.
All right, Bill, you want to defer or go first?
I will defer.
Okay. All right, JMO.
Okay. So I'm up. I will be defending the hot dog. So the hot dog is the better food, which it doesn't really feel like an argument. I think everybody's going to agree with me anyway. But hot dogs are less messy than a hamburger or a cheeseburger, right? You have burger grease dripping all over your hands, and it's disgusting. And you need napkins, and you need to wash your hands afterwards. A hot dog isn't going to do that to you. A hot dog is sitting nicely in its little bun, and it's going right down the hatch. They taste better, right? The actual taste of a hot dog is better than a burger. You get a variety of meats inside of a hot dog, whereas with a burger, you're you're just getting ground beef. So having that is a really nice little touch. Don't ask me exactly what meats are inside.
Well, I mean, you're
inside of a
right.
hot
There are
dog 'cause
different ratios of hot dog meat. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't personally want to know what's inside my hot dog, but I will say it's nice to have that variety, right? Even if it's just stuff that's scraped up from the ground floor. And my biggest thing is that they're just consistent. No matter where you go to get a hot dog, you don't have to try and say I want it somewhere between rare and well done and then hope that you get the right thing. If you're going to get a hot dog, you know what you're getting. It's cooked perfectly the whole time. Doesn't matter if you go to somebody's house and they make it on a grill, you're going to get pretty much the same hot dog you're going to get anywhere else. So you don't have to worry about how they cook it or anything like that. It's just consistent and you're good to go. I know that you could boil a hot dog. Obviously, you can grill a hot dog. You can take one right out of a package and throw it in a microwave and eat it. So they're easy. Like I said, they're consistent. They taste better. I don't think that you're going to have much of an argument, but let's see what you got.
Okay. Never in my life did I imagine talking about the meats that are included inside of a hot dog as a benefit. Because that was actually going to be my major point, which is at least with a burger, I know that this is all beef. Plus, I can make my own hamburger, which I have, and make a burger out of that own hamburger, which I've made from singular sections of beef. I'm not getting chicken beak and pork jowl and and pink 53 and curing salt all mixed up in a who knows what sheepskin carcass or whatever. Like a hot dog is just a smorgasbord of whatever meats they can find, ground up as finely as they can, mixed with pink sludge and curing salt, and shoved into whatever apparatus they can get it into. And,
Yes, sir.
and does it wind up being decent? Sure. Does it wind up being a good grilling experience? Sure. Are they consistent? Yes. However, my argument is that there are, going back to the well, there are so many different types of burgers. You can have mushroom Swiss burger. You can have a black and blue burger with blue cheese. You can have anything. You can have a traditional steak burger, which is the thick burger, which is what you were talking about, where you have to manage how it's cooked, anywhere from medium rare, well done, however you want it. You can also do a smash burger. You don't have to worry about how smash burgers cook. It's cooked consistently every time, similar to a hot dog. You get the consistency there, except it's also delicious. It's not just consistent; it's a high, and you get like the crisp edges. You get it. It can still be a little juicy enough, but messes? Are you talking about a burger being messy? Who cares? It's a great barbecue food, and it's so much better than a hot dog. It's not even close. Hamburgers are one of the greatest American eating experiences that there are. Don't come to me with the hamburgers from Germany BS. Like, it's an American food. We've adapted it to that right now. And there are just so many different ways you can dress a hamburger and make a hamburger your own. And it's easily the better cookout food.
Okay. So I think it's time we go back and forth a little bit. So you want to
Oh,
talk
for
about
sure.
one of America's best food? I've never seen a Nathan's hamburger eating contest. So there's no way on 4th of July, nobody cares who's eating a hamburger. It's all about the dog, baby. And you want to talk about dogs? They have the best nicknames in the world. There's no nickname for a hamburger. Nobody cares. But with a hot dog, you're talking about a glizzy. You're talking about a throat missile. These things are peak names for some of the best foods on the planet. I've seen tube steak. I've seen somebody call it a tube steak. That's fantastic. And then you want to talk about the versatility of it. You can have a chili dog. You can have a Seattle dog, which has cream cheese and grilled onions and jalapenos. You can have a Chicago dog that has everything that's ever been invented. Yellow mustard, chopped white onions, bright green, sweet pickle, relish, tomato slices or wedge, a dill pickle spear, sport peppers, and a dash of celery salt, according to Google.
It's bomb.
I knew it was a lot.
Celery salt on a hot dog is bomb.
Yeah, so you want to talk about versatility, you get that as well. And then you're talking about a smash burger. Well, I got news for you. They have the same thing with a hot dog smashed up. It's called bologna. And it's also delicious.
No, it's not. Okay, you are absolutely insane if you're talking about glizzies and throat missiles. I are great nicknames. They're great nicknames for burgers because they're classic burgers that everyone knows. The Big Mac, the Whopper, the Quarter Pounder. These are actual nicknames for burgers that are so good that they've been named, that they've been sold millions of times. They're the greatest selling item of all time. Why? Because they're phenomenal and they're easy to make, and they wouldn't be fast food if they were so messy. I can't eat it because I'm little Jeremiah and I can't eat it without the juices dripping on my hand. Like, come on. And yes, I agree. A hot dog can be made better by what you put on it. And then it's just you're eating the toppings. It's like saying a Bloody Mary's great because it comes with a skewer, a shrimp, a fried chicken, and 16 olives, which would be great, by the way. But at this point, if you're not ordering the Bloody Mary, you're ordering the accoutrement. And that's what a hot dog is. A hot dog's consistent, and then you can make it better by adding accoutrement on top of it, but then it's still the hot dog underneath. Whereas a burger, when it plays with the ingredients are on top of it. Like a mushroom Swiss burger, it's not that you're just adding Swiss and mushrooms. It's the whole combination is what tastes good. It's not just at the end of the day a hot dog with good toppings on top.
Yeah, I don't know. Burgers are just no mouth rockets. It's just not something that I just
I'm gonna have to stop you guys.
Okay.
You guys brought up great points. I am on the fence, surprisingly. This is a better debate than I thought it would be. So, the thing that surprised me is consistency. Because the last burger I had, I ordered it medium because at some places medium is pink in the middle. This place was like overcooked and it was a bison burger and it was expensive and I'm just like, it was a jaw workout. So consistency has to be the hot dog. Hot dog might be the winner. I wasn't a big hot dog fan until I went to Chicago last year. And then
let's go.
So you're knocking me for the random restaurant you got a bison burger at?
Well, it's consistency.
Well, that's not the point of this.
I'm knocking you for bringing up McDonald's because according to the Epstein files, they put human meat in their burgers. So you want to talk about all the junk that's put in?
It's not your conspiracy corner yet. That's next thing.
I'll take that as a win. I don't care how I got it, and I don't care what gave you that conclusion. Either way, I'm taking that as a dub. You are no longer undefeated.
And the cleanliness. The cleanliness was a good argument too.
See? What about the nicknames?
Nicknames are great, but cleanliness and you know what you're ordering is a massive part. Because I don't know. I mean, you can burn a hot dog, but you're not just going to eat it. Just put another one on, right?
Yeah.
But if you overcook the shit out of your burger, then you're just stuck eating a dry burger.
There it is. There's no way we're making it through an episode without swearing ever again. Well, I'll take my
And that's
dub,
where the
and
smash burger comes into
I'm
play.
happy. Like I said, you can have a smash burger with a hot dog too. It's called bologna.
And a smash burger is 8 billion times better than bologna. And I like bologna. I'm not even anti-bologna. Anyway, I will try and be a not sore loser, although that's definitely not my strong suit. I guess I will accept that I'm 2-1 because David got a bad bison burger at a restaurant that was apparently expensive. And I will definitely not just continue bringing that up whenever I have to mention my loss record. I did say last week that after going 2-0, you guys were going to make sure that I lost my next one.
Yeah, you got to humble you. Did you know Trey Hendrickson went to the Ravens?
Wait, that's my anything
no,
else.
here we go.
So
Okay.
hold
Okay,
on,
we'll wait.
because we're going to talk about that in my anything else. So next up is David's Cooky Corner. Did we actually land on the moon? Was the CIA responsible for the assassination of JFK? Are birds real? The people yearn for answers, and David will try his best to provide them in this off-season segment. David, over to you.
All right. So my algorithm's always just crazy stuff. So I do have like a little fun fact, which is interesting. This is not totally what I'm going to do, but the pyramids, there were never any tombs inside or graves inside or bodies inside of the pyramids. That was all made up. That actually just got recently released within the past couple weeks, but that's not what I'm talking about. So a lot of our history is
Just an
made up.
appetizer.
What?
I said just an appetizer. There we
Yeah.
go.
Well, I always like have these like kind of current events that I just pass on through because I like have what I want to talk about. So our history has what we know is kind of manipulated. I think that's fair to say. Our textbooks we had as kids in school were led by a Mossad agent, which is kind of coming out as well with all these files, which Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was a very famous Mossad agent, and he was in the McGraw-Hill like foundation for books.
Yep.
So I am here to discuss like the history of dinosaurs. So what exactly were they? Because dinosaur is like a term made up in like the 1800s by Western civilization, but they've been like finding bones and like stuff like that for centuries, but they weren't always called dinosaurs. Like they just found out like in the last few years that most of them had feathers because feathers don't fossilize.
Yep.
Because a lot of them could have been birds. So my kind of point that I'm trying to get to is, what if a T-Rex didn't really have tiny arms, but that was the start of wings, and that most dinosaurs were dragons?
I am so hopeful that there were dragons. I care about dragons so much more than dinosaurs. That'd be so much cooler. But there's no way to disprove it. I mean, yeah, like you said, there's a lot. For the longest time, you know, they're like, oh, look at this mighty T-Rex. And then some stuff came out. They're like, actually, it is kind of like a lot closer to a chicken. And everyone's like, what? You know what I mean? So like,
Well, now like
yeah,
the
I
latest thing
agree.
is it's like an ostrich, because if you look at an ostrich's bones, they have tiny arms, but
Right. Yeah.
Also, what you'll
I
see
mean-
if you look at a Will Campbell X-ray.
Hey, he's a little T-Rex.
It's true. He's a little T-Rex. Yeah, I mean, like you said, a lot of history was made up. So I don't know what to think about the dinosaurs. I'm not even going to pretend to know about like the difference between, oh, this was 17 trillion bajillion years old, and this era and that era, the mesothelioma era, and I don't, you know, I don't even want to go into. I don't know about any of that, but definitely their findings and what they thought was real versus what's real now. And then they're like, oh, these things are so different than any creature we have right now. And then they're like, oh, crocodiles? Yeah, they were just exactly the same, just bigger. It's like, well, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I guess, David, my question back to you will be, I'm interested because I feel like you kind of took a left turn as you were introing it. So you were talking about like how our history is lies.
Yeah,
And
which I think
about how
people are starting to expose.
Well, but I guess
Well, like the younger dryas impact theory is kind of throwing off like the whole archaeologist's timeline of human evolution.
and that's fair. I won't even necessarily say it's fair. I can grant you that argument for now. My point being, like, you brought it up saying that we were lied to and the like a Mossad agent was
I
in
mean, that's
the
all kind of
this
facts, but
foundation. But right, I understand that one. I'm sure I will agree with that. I guess my point is, and then you bring up the dinosaurs, which I feel like is more of a
Crazy
this
thing to believe in.
like they've learned more about
Yeah,
it
is
since
it
then.
lies or have they
Is it
learned more? Yeah.
lying or is it that they've just learned that what they told us was wrong? There's a difference between like a wrong assumption and a lie. So I guess like because who benefits from telling us that there were dinosaurs that were gigantic but had teeny little arms?
I guess the
Who
argument
really
would be,
benefits from that?
what else would it be if it's not a dinosaur? If people are discovering these massive bones and whatever. But like, what's interesting is like nobody's ever kind of accepted the fact that there's been dinosaurs, but like all these ancient cultures and civilizations have been drawing dinosaurs since like the beginning of time. And it's like parts all over the world that, I mean, there's no internet. You can't like share pictures of like, and then like in ancient texts, they mention the word dinosaur or, dragon. So it's really interesting in that aspect. And then like something as stupid as like the Chinese zodiac. You have 12 animals and 11 of them are real and one's fake. And they like they really symbolize like a dragon in their culture.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine, like, obviously there was a lot of dinosaurs in the water. There was probably a lot more in the air than we thought, but there had to be some on land. But I could subscribe to the fact that a lot of them, like we said, they could have had feathers and they could have been flying around. I'm going to one up your conspiracy theory and say that uh, dinosaurs, as we know it, they always knew that they were birds and that they had feathers, but Mattel knew that they wouldn't be able to sell as many dinosaur toys if they were all just birds. So
I mean, you think
that's
about
they were
like,
the
yeah,
ones
the
keeping it.
culture, Hollywood. Well, I mean, you're not entirely wrong because we're learning a lot through certain emails that the kind of tops of the tops are all kind of interconnected and interweaved with what we're told and what we watch on TV. It's all, well, you're not wrong,
Yeah.
Bill.
Thanks, Jeffrey Epstein. Now we have microtransactions on our Xbox games. You
I know, right? Yeah, that was the craziest thing they came out of that.
I don't know about the craziest,
or at
but
least in the,
well,
I was going to say at least in the
you know,
2
eating
seconds I spent
babies,
reading
doing
it.
this, doing that, but Xbox transactions. That's
God,
unbelievable.
grinds
and
my
something about
gears.
something about a Bubba.
Bruh.
It's a deep reference. Uh, I'm just very glad that once you started talking about Mossad agents and lying to us in history class, I'm really glad it didn't make a turn into the 1940s because that's where I thought we were going.
Oh, no.
Late 1930s,
Don't worry about that.
Late 1940s.
It'll be next week.
So
I'm just kidding.
please no, please no. We don't need to talk about that one.
I've been trying to stay out of it, but
That's good.
it's good.
Don't go into
like,
it now.
reference, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
But,
All right.
yeah,
well, that was a Cooky Corner, and I'm here for it.
That's what it's
I
there
watched
for.
the Cooky Corner. J-Lo, what do you have for your anything else?
My anything else is, so the weather's warming up, and this week my wife and I went on a couple walks this week, and let me tell you, a good springtime walk absolutely slaps. We have some friends that live right up the road. We called them, texted them in the afternoon. We're like, hey, after work, do you guys want to go for a walk? They're like, yeah, sounds good. We'll come over to your house. So it's me, my wife, my 2 kids. I got the dog. The friends came over. They brought their dog. We're all outside talking to the neighbors right across the street for a bit. They've got their kids out and playing, and everybody's having a good time. And then we go for a nice little walk with our little gang up the road and back, only like a mile or so. And it's just so nice to get back outside again, to feel this nice sunshine on you, see the snow start melting, hang out with your friends. You come out of your winter hibernation. Again, you get the dog outside, you get the kids out, everybody's having a good time. You're talking about whatever. Typical fashion, the boys were up front. We were all talking about some just dumb stuff that doesn't matter at all. And
Dinosaurs.
the girls are behind us talking about things that, the girls are behind us talking about things that actually matter. But either way, we all had a great time. And like I said, if you haven't been outside yet after this winter that we've had, the next time you get a nice warm day, just go outside and go for a walk, even if it's by yourself. Be alone with your thoughts. I promise it's going to be better for your health than staying inside.
Yeah, dopamine really hits well. The sun gives you lots of dopamine just naturally. Yeah, I can't agree with you
Mhm.
more. Like when it's nice out, I try and go outside at least once a day. I live on a private road, so it's nice to just kind of go down there. It's quiet. All my neighbors walk on my road. I get my little son in his little Power Wheels Bronco thing, and it's got a remote control, so I just walk behind him and drive him around, and he loves it. We're outside. It's warm. It's great. I can't complain.
I will say, so you can convert those little 6-volt
Mhm.
whatevers. You can put on so that it accepts like a Milwaukee battery. Don't do that. I did that. My kid crashed the car immediately. He was crying. My wife was yelling. I was in a lot of trouble. It seems fun. Just be very, very careful with that. Side note, if you want me to come over and I still have the stuff to convert another one, if you want me to, I can get that thing ripping.
Give it a couple years. You can't even touch the pedal yet.
All right, that's probably better.
You can keep it with that interboat. Yeah, no, spring walks do absolutely slap. I will say, I don't know why I would choose to live in a climate where there's like a month and a half to 2 months in the spring where it's like absolutely nice to get out and walk. Then a month and a half to 2 months in the fall where it's absolutely nice to get out and walk.
Yep.
Then other than that, it's either freezing and your face hurts from the cold, or it's a heat wave and humidity the levels no one has ever seen, and there's bugs everywhere inviting you
Yep.
on the beach. Bugs love me, so I'm like the guy who nobody else is getting bit at the function because I'm there. So if you ever want to have a party and invite somebody to keep the bugs away from everybody else, just invite me. I will be there. So I hate people in parties, but that would get the job
Yeah.
done. But
There you go.
but yeah, they do absolutely like these few days this week where it was like mid 60s, mid 70s. Those were gorgeous, like great
Peak.
days to get out. Absolutely, especially after the long winter. David, what do you have as your anything else?
Okay, so this has nothing to do with my Cookie Corner, but now that I'm looking at it, I mean, I can see where people get it. So I'm just like rewatching some TV shows right now, and Game of Thrones is so OP. It is so great. Like nothing touches it. It's
Until
just like I haven't gone that far yet. The last season wasn't great, as we all know. But like just the writing, and now that I don't know, it's probably like my fourth time watching it. It's such a great show. I don't know what could be better than it. I don't know what's on right now that's even good content to watch. It seems like, and it's also like it's the last of like a real series, because like everything nowadays, like once it gets popular, like it's like Stranger Things. It's like once like 2 seasons are down, like where these actors get known, they just like do side projects, and then it takes like 2 years to film anything. So it's like this was like the last true show where they filmed it in like an appropriate time frame, and yeah, it's just great quality as well.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
see that.
I I will say that I finally rewatched Game of Thrones. I think it was last year, maybe the year before, and I had a completely different experience than you. I almost disliked it on rewatch because of how good it was, because of thinking how bad they ruined it at the end. So, what could be better than it? I think there are a lot of shows that in totality are better than Game of Thrones, but I agree that peak for peak, it's right up there. I still think I have Breaking Bad
Yeah, Breaking
miles
Bad's
I
really
way
know.
good.
above everything. The writing in that show is just top notch, and it never fell off. Like there are a couple dud episodes, but I mean the ending is great. Every season is great. Like the couple dud episodes are usually when they're in between, like introducing a new major character, like right in between Tuco and Gus. It's a little slow there.
Yeah, my toddler
Crazy Eight and
brain
Tuco.
doesn't like Breaking Bad because there's too many slow episodes and like the character builds and everything like that. When the explosions aren't happening and murders aren't happening, I just tune out and it bores me. But that I know that that's a me problem, not an everybody problem.
But I don't even I, like per episode. There's so much murder and stuff going on, so I don't even know how
But
you're.
yeah, I don't know. It's just so long, and I don't. It just always felt like a drag
It's
to me.
not
Like
though.
it's
Like
good.
compared to Game of
Yeah,
Thrones, it's not.
No, I know, but Game of
I
Thrones
guess
have pretty colors and fun stuff happening and sci-fi.
I was gonna say
whatever.
even the murder is a lot less like action murder. There's not a lot of action
Right.
murder, so maybe that's where you're going. So there's not a lot of like action scenes in terms
I mean,
of
I
combat.
like Marvel movies, so I'm a toddler, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
It
like
is what it is,
combat.
but I do
But
love Game of Thrones. That obviously the acting was really good. The way they wrote the characters, like, is there anybody that you hate more than Joffrey, other than maybe Skylar, I guess? But yeah, I God, do I hate him so much. And then watching Pedro
Umbridge.
Pascal get his head absolutely crushed by the mountain, fantastic.
I'm
I
not
do
there
love
yet
all
in my rewatch. I just watched The Red Wedding last night, so that got me a
Ooh,
that's a legendary episode. And then like just a sneaky good actor / character in that now I'm like watching it over again is like Tywin Lannister. Charlie Dance
Yeah.
playing him is like he's not that like yeah, he's a bad guy, that's who he's playing, but his purpose, like his moral ethic code is like taking care of his family. And that's like if you like really like kind of pay attention, like at the end of the day, that's what he wants is his family to kind of be alive for thousands of years, controlling the kingdom sort of thing. So yeah, knowing how it ends is just interesting to rewatch, and that's his main point of focus, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I definitely like a lot of the side characters. I like Jorah Mormont, and I like Bronn, and I like all of them. So they definitely did a good job with that. Good show. No notes.
Yeah, good show. I think and I think they're doing a lot of good world building with House of the Dragon and the now and Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
So good.
And I like how a Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So Jeremiah and I in another group chat have talked a lot about the timeline of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms and gone into a little bit of the detail of that with another friend of ours. And I'm very interested to see how a Night of the Seven Kingdoms moves forward, just close enough in time frame to a lot of the characters and a lot of the precursor we know happens to Game of Thrones, like the Baratheon war before we get introduced to Game of Thrones and then overthrowing the Mad King. Like, so it'll be interesting to see how that series kind of continues and plays into the early Game of Thrones sequence.
Yeah, I did see HBO is contemplating doing a series on Aegon's conquest, which was like pre all this, which Aegon took the Seven Kingdoms. He was kind of the
There's
first.
so many Aegons.
Yeah, but so yeah, they're just gonna keep
Including
riding
Jon
this
Snow.
wave.
Yep.
Hey, you know nothing.
Spoiler alert, but I don't think anyone's gone this far and been like, watch Game of Thrones, and I haven't yet, and and kept listening. But yeah, no,
Phil,
that's interesting.
What's your anything else?
So my anything else is going to be flaming people in group chats who don't read messages, who don't watch reels that the other people send. If you're in a group chat where the three of you are consistently sending reels to each other and you send reels and expect them to be watched and you don't watch other reels, and then you resend some of the reels that other people send.
Who is that?
And Trey Hendrickson has signed with the Ravens. So to give you a little bit of backstory, earlier this week, I sent Trey Hendrickson has been sent to the Ravens. And then J-Mo and I, and he had 4 or 5 messages back and forth talking about, like we were talking about like how it was actually a good thing for the Ravens. Maybe 4 or 5. I'd say 5 max. And then the next message is David, who had seen the message before I sent Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. So it's not like it was buried in.
It was kind of buried. It wasn't like
no, it was like 5 messages.
Yeah.
And then David said Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. So that sent me through a little bit of a loop, and I was just like fuming. And then it's like you also like go to the Instagram reels, and it's like every reel that Jeremiah sends has me reacting to it. Every reel I send has Jeremiah reacting to it, and every reel David sends has both of us reacting to it. So it's just like normal flaming the guy in the group chat who doesn't read anything unless it involves him and doesn't watch any of the reels that anyone else sends. So that's just where I wanted to go. Is putting myself a blast.
Okay, so that morning, I went to bed way too late. I probably went to bed at like 1. Dawson woke up at 3. He was up till 7. He slept until probably 10. And that's when I went to bed at 7. I woke up at 10. And then I saw, oh my God, Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens. Let the boys know. So I didn't like look at anything. I just sent it and like ran away. But yeah, I don't. So like, I had like a system down watching reels on Instagram. I was always top right. You kind of click on that when you like see the notifications and all that. Dude, I get hammered with reels. I got friends that send me so many reels, but now it's in the middle.
We
like,
all do.
I never watch them. Yeah, you're a culprit on like 3 different media platforms. And it's also
It's
stupid.
true.
Like, how come your back button can't be the same on like Facebook, Instagram? You do YouTube. Who watches YouTube reels like a psychopath? When you have
Yeah,
top
100%.
tier
That's weird.
real social media platforms. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
like
YouTube is the largest social media platform there is. For the record.
Yeah, but
yeah,
whatever.
for like
I won't get
long
into it.
videos and
Not necessarily for
TV.
short form content. I will,
Yeah.
and normally not there for short form content. I don't send that many YouTube shorts. I really don't send that many.
I will say
1 or 2 a week.
I'll dedicate usually once a day, either in the morning or at night. Once a day, I will dedicate to going through my 50 reels that I get sent on Instagram from all my friends, and I will watch them all, and I will react to almost all of them. And then I move on with my day, and I don't touch it again for another day because it's just there's so many of them. But there are certain ones that you're like. I try to react to everything because I'm a good friend, unlike David. But I will say the one thing I don't react to because I get sent so many of them. People, listen up. I'm going to get close to the microphone for this.
I know what it is.
I swear to God, if you get anything that says this person owes you, this person has to give you, this person, blah, 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 whose name starts with this letter and it's a J, stop goddamn sending it to me. I've seen them all. It's not funny. And rant.
And that is your note to continue sending those to Jeremiah. So, David, I actually, I get it. And I also, sometimes you just want to log in, you want to scroll, and you don't want to, look at that backlog of messages. My one issue, and this is my issue for anyone in the group chat who's guilty of this, that's perfectly fine. But then you send in more reels expecting people to watch them when you don't watch the reels they send. That's when we get into some, it's just one-way territory. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to dedicate the time to look at any of the reels you guys think, but I'm going to keep watching reels. I'm going to send them. And guess what? There are going to be so many duplicates of the ones you guys already sent because I don't know they're duplicates because I'm watching the ones you guys sent.
Okay,
So
another problem is, like I said, the back button's totally different, which is stupid. They should just make them all the same. So it's when I'm watching Instagram, sometimes on accident, I'll do the back button of Facebook because you got to go out of Messenger. You got to change apps where Instagram, it's all one. So sometimes I get stuck in the middle and I just don't go back in and react to it because it's already I'm out.
Wow.
And then it's same with
Rough
Facebook.
life.
It's well, I mean, I try. If I do it, I try. But Facebook's so stupid for reels because you gotta intentionally go back into Messenger and then scroll and then hold it and then where it's if I'm already
how many Facebook reels are we
well, it's not us. I mean, people send me
okay.
a lot.
I was going to say I have one friend that sends me Facebook reels and that's it. But
I was going to say
little
I'm
buddy.
fairly well at we pretty
You
much
said
don't
YouTube.
do
I am
Instagram
not
reels.
watching YouTube reels because that's
just on principle.
that's peasantry.
I
Okay,
love that.
again, it's the largest video platform in the world.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Beast.
And I will send a lot of X or Twitter links.
For a guy that's
I don't
always
know
busy and
how
never
to
has
do it.
time, you sure send some reels. That's
I
He
I
sends
go through
75 of them in a
phases.
4-minute period.
Yes,
yeah.
that's what I'm rocking.
I'm back
That's
to
what
work now. I'm
rocking
gonna
my
be
son.
slammed, and then it's reel.
It's when I'm rocking my son or with my son. That's what I'm sending those reels, and that's why it's 75 in 4 minutes because I have the greatest algorithm. That's
You're
ever
just
been
nuking
created.
his
It's
brain.
based off of my sense of humor.
True.
So,
The worst sense of
I
humor.
do send them. I send them in absolute spurts.
And also, you send
And
me
then
the
you won't see
same
him.
bald head guy dancing all the time.
That
like
was just
80
for
different
you.
things about the
Whenever.
same.
Oh man, that's
Okay,
funny.
that
Double
one's
bald head,
completely
big
fair.
belly.
That was completely
All right.
fair. And that
You know
that
what?
was
It's still
hilarious.
better. It's still better than this is our Colts. This is. I mean, I love that guy. Good for him. But boy, do I never want to see him pop up on my thing again.
Or
All
there's
right, can we end
have
this
you seen
episode
the?
yet?
Absolutely not. I'm having too much
Oh
fun.
my god.
The Big Daddy Mark singing.
Yes.
You know him. Yeah, same concept. Anyway, okay. Uh,
Oh,
that's it for us here on Context Matters. Thanks again to Hyatt Trucks. Check us out on YouTube at Context Does Matter and Spotify and wherever else you can get your podcast at the Context Matters podcast. Also, follow along with us on Twitter at Context M Podcast and Facebook at the Context Matters Podcast, as we will be keeping the reaction and discussion going all off season long. Reminder to email us at thecontextmatterspodcast@gmail.com with your ideas, takes, and anything you want to see on the show. I'm Bill, along with David and Jane-Mo. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Goodbye.
bye everybody.